can I make an incredible pizza dough in my home kitchen? Let's find out. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Matt. I'm a self-taught home cook, and on this channel, we make incredible food from scratch in our home kitchen. Today, we're starting something new. We're starting something exciting. We are going to create a series on making pizza in our home kitchen. What does that mean? Well, it means we're gonna be using the equipment that we have in our home kitchen, the regular home oven, ingredients that we find at the grocery store, maybe some specialty shops here and there, but we are going to go on a journey to see if we can replicate incredible pizza from around the world in our home kitchen. So I think the biggest, at least my biggest concern when making home pizza is making pizza dough. In today's episode, we're gonna tackle making pizza dough, and to start off with, we need to go to the grocery store and get a few key ingredients. Fresh yeast. So flours, we've actually got some pizza flour here, but I think we need something a little bit better. We need a different kind of flour. We need a flour that's specifically designed for pizza. I know the last one said it was pizza flour, but I think if we're gonna do authentic Italian pizza crust, we need to go to an Italian store. This place right here. These are the wines, even though they look great, not what we're here for. Here we go. This is what we're looking for. So they have a pizza one, but I think this is what we want. Doppio Zero, double zero. So we're back at home and we've got all of our flours. In fact, we've got a few different kinds here. We've got this pizza flour. It's just sort of the regular grocery store brand, but it is specifically for pizzas. This is the fancy flour. This is the flour, the double zero flour. This brand, Aputure, is really, really well known among people who make pizzas for a living, bread. This is the fancy stuff. You know, and then you've got just our regular old all-purpose flour. So what's the difference between these three? You know, all-purpose flour, this is the regular flour that you'll use, you know, for all-purpose recipes. It's good for just about anything. And this will make a pizza dough, but this flour, the double zero, really comes from how finely it's ground. Why does that matter? Well, as we're fermenting this, as we're letting it sit, as we're letting it proof, we can use less water. You're gonna get a crispier, crunchier, sort of that charred pizza dough a lot easier with this type of flour. It's gonna depend on what type of pizza we wanna make. You know, the Neapolitan style pizzas just have that sort of characteristic thin crust. I don't think this is gonna work as well when we try to make thicker crust style pizzas later in this series. But let's jump in the kitchen and let's make some pizza dough. We're gonna start our pizza in the simplest way possible by using the recipe that's on the back of the pizza flour that I bought. Not even using the expensive pizza flour I bought. Basically, the fastest way I think that we can create a pizza at home, use that as our baseline for the rest of this series to see how much better we can make a pizza. The best thing about this, there's only 4 ingredients in this pizza dough. Let's give it a try. I'm gonna use a kitchen scale. It's always easier to measure things out by weight when you're doing really any kind of baking. Grams and weight, a lot easier. Start with a bowl, add my pizza flour, some water, a bit of extra virgin olive oil, and a little bit of salt. I was supposed to reserve a little water, so hopefully this still works, but I'm gonna mix this with a wooden spoon. There's gonna come a point where this becomes too hard to mix with the wooden spoon, so we're gonna start using our hands. Put a little olive oil on your hands to prevent things from sticking, and then get right in there with our hands. Basically what we want is all these dry bits of flour to be incorporated into this main bed of flour. Once there's no more dry bits in the bowl, we're gonna knead it on a work surface here. A little bit of flour, move my dough over, and then using the heel of your hand, basically we're just gonna push down, pull up, and then push down again. Rotate. The goal here is to have a smooth dough and one that's no longer sticking to your hands. This is gonna take 5 minutes, 7 minutes sort of thing. I feel pretty good about this. In a bowl, just a little oil in the bottom so that it doesn't stick. We're gonna leave this for 10 minutes, basically so the glutens can relax a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so that's been resting for about 10 minutes or so. We're gonna cut this into 250 gram or so balls. It's gonna give us our individual pizza dough. Let's see how much that weighs. 190, let's add a bit more to it. So now we're gonna form this into a ball, stretch out the dough, and then push it through your fingertips, and you'll get a ball. To tighten it up, use your fingers, pinching the bottom of the dough, tighten the seam, and there you go. You've got one serving of pizza dough. I'm gonna do this with the rest. So these need to proof for about an hour and a half. So I'm gonna cover them with a kitchen towel and we'll let them rise for about an hour and a half. All right, it's been about 90 minutes. Let's take a look. This is our dough after proofing. They've gotten a lot larger, probably about doubled in size or thereabouts. I'm gonna set 3 of these aside and we'll use one of them to make a pizza to test how good this dough is. As usual, flour the work surface a little. And I'm using my fingertips. I'm gonna start spreading this out from the center, trying to keep it as even as possible. If you want, you can get a little fancy and start using your knuckles to sort of spread things out. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle, you know, as close as you can. Create a little lip on the edge for our crust. Our pizza is almost ready. We're just gonna make a really, really simple pizza with tomato sauce and a little bit of mozzarella cheese. After all, this episode is really about trying to figure out if we can create a really, really easy crust as opposed to going really complicated, which we'll save for some later episodes. I crushed up some canned tomatoes and we'll add these. I'm gonna go most of the way to the edge, but I wanna leave a little bit of room for the crust. Just some grated low moisture mozzarella cheese. This is ready for the oven, home oven, preheated on the hottest setting with the fan on. We're gonna throw this in for about 8 to 10 minutes or so. 10 minutes in my home oven, no fancy ovens, the basic sort of pizza dough, an hour and a half from scratch. This looks pretty good. I'm incredibly impressed with how good this looks, but we've got to taste it. So let's get this garnished up and we'll try a piece. I'm gonna keep the garnishing pretty simple, just a little bit of basil. Let's give this slice a try. It's really good. You know, for a home cooked pizza, for a dough that has 4 ingredients, you know, an hour and a half to make, maybe just, you know, slightly longer. There's some things that we can improve to make this an even better pizza. This is the starting point for this series. I think things are only gonna get better. Join us in the next episode where we are going to make my personal favorite pizza. We're gonna make the pizza as authentic as we can. Neapolitan pizza, margherita pizza, my absolute favorite. So thanks for joining us on this episode. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.